Hi, and welcome to the first in this series of company spotlights from Bud. What you can expect from this series is we'll be bringing people in like Jasper here from different fintech and financial service companies, getting them to tell us a little bit about what they're doing, what they're up to, how they're benefiting customers. So we're really excited to start this series. We are also here in the beautiful House of St. Barnabas, which is a charity helping unemployed people get back into employment. At the end of the video, there'll be a donate button. So if this is a cause that you believe in, then feel free to donate. So on to the introductions. We have Jasper Martens here, who is the VP of Marketing from PensionBee. Hi, Jasper.
Hey, Jay, good morning.
morning. So before we get started on PensionBee and the great stuff you guys are doing, why don't you tell us and people who may not know, what is a pension?
Yeah, well, basically, a pension is surprisingly simple. It's any savings you put aside that helps you to plan, live off retirement in later life. In the UK, there are three sorts of pensions. So first of all, there's the government state pension, which is a whopping £155 a week if you're lucky. So that's not going to take it too far. There are workplace pensions, and as you might know, there's a lot of auto enrollment for companies taking place. So you probably will be enrolled in one of those pension schemes, so you're saving for retirement there. And then there are some, they're called personal pensions. So if you want to set up a pension on top of all those two things. So see them as building blocks to save for later.
And it's for later life that
yes.
these things are.
So state pension is, you get that from the government when you are 65 or older, or if you're lucky, I think we will be 75 and be able to access it. You never know. It's the government who decides that. And then you have personal pension, workplace pensions. You could start accessing that money when you're 55 or older. So see it more of a long-term savings, a long-term ISA account.
And the idea is that it has better interest rates than a kind of a savings account, or?
So there are two benefits of actually saving into a pension. The first benefit is that because you have to put it away for longer, it's usually not just cash you set apart. It's usually invested in shares or bonds. Something that helps you to generate interest over time. So that's the first example, first benefit. The second benefit is that if you save into a pension, you don't pay income tax on it. So the government will give you at least 20% back. So for every £8 you put into a pension, the government will add another £20 on top. So you get £100. So it's tax free. Up to £40,000 a year you can do that. And
wow.
I don't think a lot of people will actually save £40,000 a year. So that's the second benefit, really.
Fantastic. Well, I mean, it all sounds very good, but what's the general attitude towards pensions nowadays? How are people feeling about them?
I think what we at PensionBee believe in is that the industry has made it unnecessarily complicated product. So people you start to get switched off and something is really difficult. You think, oof, I will look at it a little bit later on. It becomes one of those oof things you need to take care of, and you just end up putting it off. And that's what's happening in the UK. People who should be saving for a pension, they're not, because it's a very complicated product. And it's actually becoming more and more important. The government, are they actually going to give us that £155 a week when we retire? I have my doubts. And second, you used to be with one employer for 30 odd years, and we call them gold-plated pensions. You had a final salary pension where you were guaranteed a particular income. That's all gone out of the window, and we're chasing jobs all the time. So we have lots of smaller pots around. People just lose control, and it's a bit of a mess.
So we've got a few challenges then when we move jobs. What other challenges are people facing, which is almost generating this attitude of to pensions?
Well, first of all, pension is a bit of a product, isn't it? It's not necessarily the first thing you think about. Actually, 82% of people switching jobs leave their pensions where they are. Pension providers are not easy to deal with, so they won't tell you to make it easier to take that money with you to the new pension provider. And that is being the case. That's the main challenge. So it's often very difficult to move that. You need to call your pension provider, give all sorts of details and information, go to a post office or bank to validate a document for the fact to identify who you are. They take a long time to come back to you, and then they come back to you, and you're presented with like a letter with language that really, in our view, requires a PhD in finance. It's like a recent example is the Aviva transfer form, where I think you should really go to university to understand what's actually in that document. And fees are hidden, so you actually have no idea what you're paying. So what happens in those situations? You probably say, just leave it where it is, I will deal with it later.
Okay, so we've teased it for long enough now. What's PensionBee doing to change all this then?
So what we're doing is that PensionBee is an online pension manager that helps you combine all of those pensions in one new online plan. The plans are managed by BlackRock and State Street, one of the biggest money managers in the world. So it's not us touching your money actually, it's they will actually deal with that. But we have the customer-facing platform for everybody to bring it together online very easily. And then second, encourage you to stay on top of it and take charge over your retirement savings.
So kind of breaking down a lot of these barriers that are put up by the traditional pension providers. Okay, so and who's it for?
So it's for people in their late 20s, 30s and early 40s who are working, who should be saving for later, and that is where the product is for. And engage with them, encourage them to take control over their savings.
Do you find that you talk to people, and I'm trying not to make this sound like me now, in their late 20s, who know they should be saving for the future and just aren't?
Yeah, we have quite a large community of people in the 20s and 30s online. So when we share like our latest blog post on Facebook, we get sometimes hundreds of comments and shares. People like you and me who are saying, why shall I actually start? Where shall I start? Or why would I actually do this? It's a long time away. And again, because it's made so complicated, people like you and me are thinking, well, that's something for later. By the way, I'm going to buy a house. I probably will live off that when I retire. There's lots of people actually have mentioned, invest in gold, because that's where it's at. And I'm thinking, well, actually, if you knew a little bit more about it, it can actually be quite an interesting product.
Okay, good. The key benefits then, for someone like me who probably has a work pension somewhere and should probably be thinking about the future with a personal pension maybe. What are the key benefits for someone like me?
If you want to bring everything together in your own pension and take it with you, I think the biggest advantage is that you know exactly what you have. And also, if you look at on our PensionBee dashboard, where there is a pension calculator, where that money, that pot, is like connected to that calculator, you can actually start planning. And I think that transparency and openness about, right, I'm here now, I ideally want to be there, so I need to do this, kind of like sets you up for like a plan. I think that's the advantage. If you would leave everything like a couple of £1,000 there, £500 there, what's been built up in your working life, you have no idea what you actually have, so you can't plan. And also, it's very difficult to access that money by some of the providers. So we believe that consolidating them in one plan online, easy to access, easy to manage, is the way forward.
So you talked about the calculator, which kind of gives people the ability to like play around and see, what kind of wealth they can amass going forward. But what other features do you guys have on PensionBee that people can have a play with?
So I think biggest advantage, as mentioned, is you tell us where you've worked, and our PensionBee platform will actually know where your pensions are and bring them together online. That is the easiest bit, so you don't have to do all those phone calls and things.
How much time does that? Like realistically, how much time is that going to save? The average person.
So the sign up at PensionBee takes you 5 minutes. You get assigned a beekeeper at PensionBee, is a customer success manager, your personal one who keeps you in touch with you along that process. We have automated most of it, but if you had to do it yourself, I think it would set you 4 to 6 weeks at least. But then, of course, check in here, respond to this, go to the post office. It's all those little naggy things. So it's quite a lengthy time to access or to find all those pensions yourself. So I guess that is that's where you need to start. That's the big advantage of PensionBee. The second bit is encourage you to save for later. So the pension calculator, I think that's a pretty, I have to say, cool feature. I'm using it myself now. And it helps. It's very simple. It works on mobiles. Everything we offer to access your Beehive, your online account, is easy to use from any device. But planning for retirement, set up contributions, because you can actually pay into your pension, one-offs or regular ones. If you had a bonus from work, why don't you just put a little bit aside and put it into your pension? And we claim automatically tax relief on those contributions for you. So that will automatically be added to your pension balance. Then the third one is your pension balance is a live balance. Every time you log in, we show you exactly what's in that pension pot. And we are working with partners on making that pension balance available through other money apps. Whether it's the new mobile banks that are coming to the market this year, they got their product set up, but also like solutions like where you can see your pension balance potentially in apps like your app. So I think that is the main advantage. I don't think any pension provider in the UK will have a live pension balance.
I mean, it sounds amazing. So when did it go live? How many people are using it? And kind of importantly, what are they saying? What are they saying about it?
So we went live in Finding Pension in January, and then in March we got and this must sound very familiar to you, of hopefully very soon we've got full FCA permission to actually go live, so we could offer access to everybody. We've now had just over 7,000 sign-ups, and we are moving roughly 15-20 pensions online, customers online a day. So I would say at the moment we just have just over 500 customers, but it's growing fast now. Mm-hmm. The rate of growth is going really fast. The feedback is it's quite nice to see that customers are posting reviews now on Trustpilot and other websites. That they are very grateful that actually we were solving a headache for some people. Even people are happy that they can use it on their mobiles on the go. And some slightly older, I would say, generation who might have saved a little bit more, sometimes 7-8 pensions.
Wow. And
some of them actually were really lost. And for them to see that coming online, reviews have been really good. We've also listened to our customers a lot. So they've been talking to us in terms of what they would like to see. So yes, we have quite a busy product roadmap for the next couple of months. Fantastic.
Interest rates have been in the news quite a bit recently, particularly falling interest rates.
Yeah.
That coupled with a top-heavy population, how do you feel that's going to impact pensions? And, importantly, how do you think that's going to impact PensionBee going forward?
Yeah, I think because of the pension changes in combination with falling interest rates and a lot of people actually needed to have some sort of pension solution at some stage, the government will play far less important role. So it's you have to take control of this yourself. Don't count on the government to provide you with a decent state pension when you retire. Just don't. If they do, great, but just don't.
I almost feel like you should be telling like directly into the camera.
Just don't. I would say just don't. That's one. I think the second bit, which is like with falling interest rates, you won't get a lot of like interest on your savings. With pensions, where only a small fraction is actually cash, most of pension solutions, like the ones we offer, will be a mix of like shares, so you invest, and bonds, and a bit of cash, a bit of property. So it's all in the mix. So you don't put your eggs in one basket. It's very diversified. It's across all of the world invested. It's not just the UK. So so you don't have to take care of that. That's all done by our money managers. So it means that your money will grow over time. It's less likely to be impacted by an aging population in the UK, or it's less likely to be impacted by low interest rates, because it's a diversified investment you're doing.
Okay, so the future of pensions, where do you think we're going? What's around the corner for people to kind of keep an eye out for?
There is a lot of things happening now, fortunately, I would say in pension tech. And well, we're officially in fintech, but I always say pension tech, because there were only a couple of people looking at this particular problem, and I think more people are coming to the market, which is great news. Big advantages are the fact, which you mentioned, a live pension balance, which is accessible through your online banking, your mobile banking, or any money apps, making sure that people have access to that pension balance, making that easier to combine. But the future of pensions, I would say, treat pensions like a long-time ISA or like a bank account. Do you have some money left? Why can't you just use Apple Pay to pay into that pension straight away through an app? I think that would be really like next step. I wouldn't say we are releasing that next month. I would definitely say an app is on our product roadmap, because our customers want to do that. But that transparency, no jargon, no hidden fees, and just having that full control for apps and third-party technology, absolutely. I don't think we would settle for less.
Thank you so much, Jasper. It's been great hearing about PensionBee, and I feel a little bit more educated myself. So that's it for the first of our series. Hope you enjoyed. If you've got some feedback, just leave it in the comments section. Aside from that, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss our next one, which should be coming out in 2 weeks. You can follow us on Twitter at this_is_bud. Do you want to give a plug for PensionBee Twitter?
Yes, so follow us on Twitter at PensionBee, or join over 15,000 people on Facebook on facebook.com/PensionBee.
Fantastic. Like I said at the beginning of this video, we are at House of St. Barnabas. It's a great charity trying to get homeless people into employment. So if you want some more information about them, or you want to donate, there'll be a link in the description. If you're a product owner of a fintech company or a financial services company, and you like what you saw here, and you want to get your, you want to get someone, a representative, to sit here where Jasper is, get in contact. Leave a comment in the comments below, and we'll get back to you. All that's left to say is thanks for watching. See you.
Cheers.